in about, I think it was 2004, we were visited at Maloka by a professor from the Buddhist college in Budapest. He showed me a list of all the Buddhist groups in Hungary, and I picked out one which was called the Panchashila Association. And I thought that was interesting because all the others were Dzogchen this and Vipassana that, but one that was called the Panchashila Association suggested one that had a rather basic approach, and that interested me immediately. So I asked about it, and I was told that it was a Roma group.
To be gypsy in Europe, it's really, really bad, because the white people have a really big prejudice, which is not true. Not all gypsy are smelly. Not all gypsy are dirty and stealing and lying and I don't know,
Well, their situation is probably very like that of Dalits in India, from whom the Buddhists are drawn mainly, and the followers of Dr Ambedkar.
As a Roma, I born in the Roma settlement. I struggle a lot, with this discrimination. Wherever I am going, I saw how they are treating Roma, and I decide, that to fight for this, because I believe that all people are equal, and we are all human beings in the one world, and we should not face discrimination based on something what we cannot decide.
The white people never meet with gypsy. They don't have connection, friendship, anything, They just know from prejudice what it means to be Hungarian, what it means to be gypsy, but they don't have a reality.
It just came to me that maybe the approach of Dr Ambedkar would be appropriate to them. So I wrote.
My teacher realized, Subhuti ran same work like Tibor and me in the southwest of Hungary, and he gave to Subhuti my email address.
Then I got a reply back saying, come and visit.
Subhuti came, he realized, yes, this is the same work what we run in Maharashtra state.
They told me something about their struggles and their connection with Buddhism, and it seemed they'd already connected with Dr Ambedkar.
It was a big revelation for us to meet that huge movement.
So after visiting and seeing their work, which impressed me greatly, I invited them to India, and I got funding from the Karuna Trust.
So in 2005, we were invited by TBMSG to visit schools, kindergartens, community centers all over Maharashtra.
I find everything. I was enlightened in that time. Oh my God, yeah. What I miss in my gathering, my organization, I find it because they have a good example who is Dr. Ambedkar.
We don't see now Ambedkar, but we could see his followers, like the Dalits. And we could see they can create new schools, new kindergartens, universities. And then if he could organize it, maybe we can do it in Hungary too, and the gypsies, and they can believe it.
We went to a big retreat in Nagpur. That was the Dhammakranti retreat, and that was the point, the moment when we decided we would like to belong to that movement.
And there were a lot of people who were interested what Ambedkar did, and they follow his way. A lot of people. So I see the power in it, and I should follow it, I think.
In that time I realized I want to be this kind of Buddhist like them. You know, this is the Buddhism that I want to share with my people in Hungary.
I felt I'm a member of them because we did the same work. They looks like me or János and the other gypsies at my home.
When we came back to Hungary, in that time we create our own church. Our church name is Jai Bhim Network. This is a very, very important message, the name of our church, because our Dalit friends salute each other Jai Bhim. And in that time, we have now gathering, which is a religious gathering. Let us create our school. What kind of name would be better for Jai Bhim Network to have a school? Dr Ambedkar School. So, and we create our Dr Ambedkar High School in Hungary in 2007.
This is very much in fulfillment of Baba Saheb's vision of education as what transforms people.
Now I'm working for the Dr. Ambedkar High School as a practitioner teacher. I think if I teach, I can show them how they should live their life, what kind of decision they should make. Maybe I can be an example for them. And they are gypsy like me. So I feel the connection with them all the time because I'm one of them, one of the gypsies.
We are providing them here some food and we are providing them help with the kids. If the girls has already kids and they are coming to the school, there are ladies who are playing. We have a kind of like a kindergarten here and keeping the smaller and the biggest kids here.
We now have 8 Dhammamitras in Hungary, including the leaders Tibor and János and Aniko and others, Kubu, 8 Dhammamitras who mainly expressing their commitment to Buddhism through their work in the school, but who definitely see themselves as part of Triratna. They're definitely trying to live out their Buddhist life through their social activism.
There are many villages in Hungary like this one. White people, middle class, left these villages. Only elderly people stayed here. Those who couldn't afford to leave the village are very poor people, mainly gypsies. They are born into a situation which is a trap for them. They couldn't leave this situation and there are no possibilities here.
They spend all time, all life in really, really segregated life. They cannot see outside anything. And this is our message in Dr. Ambedkar High School. Let us be free.
That is why we want to open the gates for them, to let them study and go to cities, universities, to jobs. We brought the secondary school program here, but we want to bring them, these youngsters, to the cities with the help of this secondary school program.
Dr. Ambedkar's approach seems particularly applicable in Hungary and in Central Europe generally, because we don't just work in Hungary, we also work in Slovakia, because there's such a distinct community which is really separate in the way that the those formerly considered untouchable, were separate in India, living on the outskirts of the village in separate ghettos, really, effectively. So much about the situation is immediately reminiscent of India. And of course, skin colour separates people. And for many, language separates people, because they still, some of the poorest still speak the Gypsy language, which is related to modern Indian languages, North Indian languages like Hindi, Marathi and so forth.
The Gypsies came from India, and if you go to the street and look around, you will see the Gypsies. And if you ask European men who is Gypsy or who are Indian, if they see a picture about the Gypsies and Dalits together in a picture we have, and they can't decide it who is Gypsy, who are not.
The school is better because you are different. You are black or you wear something different like the others. It doesn't matter because we are equal in here. If I had a bad day and I feel really sad or I have a problem in home, they are so helpful with me. They're trying to help me. And they show me how to get a better life. For example, I want to go to university in Budapest. And before the school, I didn't want this.
I can see the change in my students after they spend some time in our high school. For example, if I started to talking about the Dr. Ambedkar and he came from a poor family, they can feel the connection because they came from too a poor family. Dr. Ambedkar had a lot of siblings, and our students have a lot of siblings too. They can imagine the circumstances of Ambedkar and they see what their situation. So if I'm talking about Dr. Ambedkar and his ideology, they can be easily connected to the ideology.
Dr. Ambedkar's life story and the meaning of his work is not a special subject in our school, but it is everywhere there. It is there in the course of history, in the course of geography. Our students know much more about India than other students in other high schools of Hungary.
We teach Buddhism too, but it's not central for us because most of our students are Christian. And we have to catch the point where they can connect for the Dr. Ambedkar and the Buddhism. And this is the human rights.
The important thing about the Jai Bhim Network, which is our Triratna organization in Hungary, is that it's led by Roma people. It's not by middle-class do-gooders. They'll use middle-class do-gooders like myself, but it's in their hands. They lead it. They have control over it.
We are in good way. We are beginner, but I think we are in good way. And when I see we have more and more students who finish secondary school and enter in university, this is a really small number with Indian minds, you know, because if I tell you we have almost 100 students who finish secondary school, for you it's practically nothing. But for us it's a huge number.
I feel very strongly for them and I want to support them as long as I can. So I'll continue going out there, perhaps once or twice a year, and I'll continue to try to connect my brothers and sisters with their work, and especially my Indian brothers and sisters. I hope eventually that we'll have Roma order members, and then there'll be an autonomous branch of the Triratna in Hungary with its own order members in complete harmony with all the rest of the order.